why do two nomads with the same laptop, same ambition, and similar skill sets end up in two completely different situations? You have Nomad A making six figures, traveling the world, flying business class, while Nomad B is burnt out, constantly chasing gigs, and is barely able to pay for even basic hostels. So what's the difference? In this video, I'm not just going to give you a list of online business models. I'm going to unpack the hidden factors that separate the smart and sustainable paths from the time-wasting traps. You'll see why some models thrive this year while others slowly drain your freedom. And by the end, you'll know exactly which path fits your lifestyle the best and why most of the popular business models just suck for you. So how do you actually know if a business is suitable for the nomad lifestyle? Well, it needs to pass this checklist. So first, we need to get started for less than $1,000, right? We're not looking to spend $10, $20, or even $100,000 starting a new business as a nomad because there's absolutely no reason if we don't need to. Second, of course, it needs to be 100% online, nothing physical required to where we need to show up and be somewhere, because obviously that kind of ruins our travel plans and would really limit us. Number three, needs to be time zone friendly to where if you have to report in at certain days like 7 a.m. Eastern time in the US, check out at 5 p.m., right? When we're in different locations, that can be a problem. So we need to have a level of time flexibility. Number four, of course, is high earning potential. It needs to have high earn potential and be consistent on a monthly basis and not fluctuate too much because we need that reliability and a healthy amount coming in to where we can afford to fly business class and stay in nice Airbnbs, etc. This business also needs to be simple. It shouldn't require a PhD, previous marketing or business experience. Anyone that's just driven enough and relatively intelligent can do it and be wildly successful. Now, there are businesses that can make a lot of money or be relatively simple, but don't fully check off everything on this list. And that can still be a great business, but the key here is it's not a great business for you, and that's the point. Now, let's take a look at a business that checks off every single item on this list and has generated over $750,000 in semi-passive income since 2019 for myself. And that is Udemy course creation. And no, this doesn't mean standing in front of a whiteboard, pretending to be an expert. You can literally know nothing and make substantial money on Udemy, never taught anything in your life, never even show your face on camera, which I'll get into in a second. Here's how it works in a nutshell. So first, you're going to write a list of all of the different things that you're passionate about, professional skills that you've acquired up until this point in your life, skills that you're interested in learning, any digital tools that you've used like QuickBooks, Salesforce, Excel, Google Sheets, Google Analytics, Facebook ads, whatever it might be. Just create this massive hit list. Then what you're going to do is use a tool like Key Search and the free Udemy Marketplace Insights tool to essentially take this list of ideas that you have, run it through these two tools. It will then show you the level of demand and competition for each of these ideas. And you'll basically find the one that has the highest search volume, the highest demand that people are looking to buy with the lowest number of competition. Then from there, you can use ChatGPT to basically analyze all of your competitor reviews, use that data, and again, done in literally minutes, to create your entire course outline, exactly what you need to include in your course to be a top seller, exactly what to say, where to structure everything, what to include or not include, etc. And what's really cool is if this is your first time and you're kind of afraid of creating content or you've never created content before, is you can find an expert on social media like LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok, that's making content already about the topic you're interested in, approach them and say, hey, use this form, send it to them and be like, this topic that you're passionate about could do really well on Udemy. I can help you bring this to Udemy. They record all the content. You help them basically create the course and market it, which is actually super, super easy, and split something like 30%, 70% in terms of revenue that comes in. They keep 70%, you keep 30, and do that multiple times. And that's ridiculously passive income. And you just need to learn a few basic skills, mostly with AI. It's incredible. I can't believe not more people are talking about it. And using Toggle, we track all of the hours that we work on everything. So we know on average, it takes Allie and I about 40 hours of upfront effort to create a single course. Obviously, the longer the course, the more effort. The shorter the course definitely takes less time. But on average, about 40 hours of upfront effort. And then ongoing, literally per course, 10 minutes per week. This is responding to student messages, every once in a while making a course update in case something, kind of goes out of date that needs kind of refreshing. But that's kind of on an ongoing basis, like a couple of times per year. And over the past 7 years, that averages out to $613 per hour of effort, which is incredible. And the best part is you can get started with this business model for literally less than 50 US dollars. Not 1,000, not 10,000, not 100,000, 50 bucks. Basically using the pro version of ChatGPT and a keyword tool. And if you want the free full training, like in depth on this entire process, we'll be linking the free training in the description section of this video so you can check that out. Now, before I show you a few more models that do pass all of our digital nomad friendly criteria, let me cover a few that don't, that are absolutely horrible and I would not recommend to any digital nomad. The first is YouTube. That sounds hypocritical. You're literally watching a YouTube video and I do YouTube. Here's why. I got started in YouTube in 2019. Back then, with my first YouTube channel, it was way easier and cheaper than it is now. Basically, I have the amount of time and money that I need at this point to really scale and grow it. But just for reference, it costs literally hundreds and hundreds of dollars per YouTube video that we put out. For thumbnail design, for video editor, for YouTube strategist, Allie and I's own time and effort strategizing. We have videos that perform well, other ones that really don't, but it's a ton of time and effort up front, at least 8 months doing everything correctly before realistically you're able to even start seeing a return. But I'm really passionate about it, taking the learnings that we have from being a digital nomad, and that passion drives us, and we see the opportunity over the long term. But if you have lower capital and you're a bit camera shy, etc., I definitely don't recommend it. It's not nomad friendly. It used to be more, but things have changed. And the same is true with blogging. So this is basically where you create, a website with different helpful articles. And basically your goal with each article is to get ranked on Google for certain keywords, kind of like YouTube with keywords on YouTube, articles on Google. Like, for example, here are the top 50 digital nomad items that you can't live without. And you have an Amazon affiliate link for each product. A percentage of people will click, a percentage of those people will buy, and you get a percentage of the total revenue from that. Well, with blogging, number one, Amazon Associates, which is basically Amazon's affiliate program, and many others have actually reduced commissions over time. So bloggers and influencers make less and less money over time. And more importantly than that is AI is obviously taking over Google SEO and articles. So if you don't really consider yourself an AI expert, or you don't have any SEO or blogging background, I would definitely recommend staying away from it. Like right now is probably the worst time, unless you have that AI and kind of previous SEO experience. Then it can actually be a really good time to seize this changing opportunity as we shift more into this fully, really AI-based content creation. Otherwise, it's going to be way too complex and you're going to get eaten alive. And one of the most horrible, maybe the worst business model for digital nomads is dropshipping. And this comes from someone who has been in e-commerce, selling on Amazon, Etsy, my own Shopify dropshipping website, spending hundreds of thousands of dollars in advertising, generating literally millions of dollars in revenue, not profit, from the products that we've sold on these different platforms. Dropshipping is terrible. Now, the idea is great, where basically you create a website and you find these products, usually from China on AliExpress, and all you do is you take these kind of cool, interesting gadgets and products and list them for sale on your website. Someone goes to your website, finds the products, clicks on it, purchases, and basically the beauty here is you only have to pay to buy that product and send it to the customer when the purchase is made. So in theory, relatively low startup cost, very simple model. Again, with that physical element, you don't have to have that physical inventory. However, if you create a website, who's going to know about your website? What are you going to do? You have to either pay influencers to shout out your crappy products, usually crappy products, or spend literally thousands of dollars in Facebook ads, Google search ads, Google shopping ads, YouTube ads, etc., to get people to come to your site to ultimately buy. So that doesn't pass our criteria that you can get started with less than $1,000. And Facebook ads, Google ads, YouTube ads, all of that has only gotten more competitive and more complicated. One of my best friends is a Facebook ads expert. That's what he does for a living for years. And he's thinking about quitting because it's gotten so difficult. And I know I've mentioned that I've made millions of dollars in revenue selling products on Amazon through their Amazon FBA or Fulfilled by Amazon program. And why I don't recommend that is a similar reason with all of these others. Years ago, it was much easier, way less competition. You basically identify a product that Amazon shoppers are searching for, but they can't find on Amazon. So you go to Alibaba or to China, create that product, create like 100, 300, 500, whatever, depending on, the demand. Ship that into Amazon's fulfillment network, right? List your product for sale. You have a title, bullet points, an image or images, and then shoppers are searching, boom. Once your product goes live, now they can find the product, buy it. And because there's less competition, you didn't used to need to advertise the product, which is now absolutely critical if you want to get seen and visibility because the competition has increased. There are new tariffs that are implemented, which are reducing margins. And for many reasons, it's just a huge headache, right? When you sell really well and then you run out of stock, now your sales go to zero. So in terms of that sustainability element, it does fluctuate quite a bit to where with digital products, which we'll talk about in a second, don't have that problem where you literally have unlimited inventory, if that makes sense. And lastly, unless you have a home that you're planning on leaving and Airbnb-ing out as a digital nomad, which can be an amazing opportunity, by the way, if you own a home, Airbnb it out. But in most of our cases, right, we came from apartments, and getting into real estate is a terrible idea. It's extremely capital intensive. You can spend tens of thousands of dollars, even with a first buyer home loan in the United States or other kind of similar forms in other countries. Cash flow is very low, and you need to hire a management company to manage. And honestly, after staying in 80 Airbnbs around the world, it can be a big headache with not a lot of return. So in general, if you're looking for a business to give you freedom, then stay away from these businesses. It'll be a lot of money and can be a lot of headache. So if these business models suck, then what is good? Is there even any business model that meets this criteria? Yes. And the key here is there's very few, which is the whole point of making this video, to help guide you in the right direction and show you opportunities you would have never thought about on your own, or give light to these opportunities. Now, the first of these, and one of my absolute favorites, is Etsy digital products. This is basically where you create a digital product. This could be a Google Sheets template, Notion template, Canva template. This could be print on demand, which is similar-ish to drop shipping, but instead of dealing with physical inventory, you deal with designs, to where you create a design, partner with a manufacturing company that just prints t-shirts. When someone buys your product on Etsy, so it looks like a t-shirt, right? They're buying a t-shirt. It's your design mocked up on a t-shirt. Once they purchase, then the manufacturer prints and sends that to the customer. So it's completely digital to you, even though it's a physical product. So that's basically digital products on Etsy and print on demand, which is technically a hybrid between physical and digital. But here's the benefit is it's very low cost to start up. Because think about it, when you're buying like 1,000 physical products, right, you have to pay for packaging, the cost itself, inspection service, GS1 barcodes, all of these different kinds of things, shipping as well from China, for example, to the United States. And all these things add up to literally $10,000 or $20,000. Where with Etsy, you don't have to deal with all that. You can literally use Canva for free and create designs on your own if you're generally creative. As AI is getting better and better, you can use Midjourney and DALL-E to create these images, but have to be done in a certain way to where they're not cheap and just like all the other AI designs. Or still, relatively inexpensively, you can hire a freelancer on Upwork, basically give them your vision. You can go on Pinterest and Google Images, find some kind of designs that you like, send that to them to create. And in terms of knowing, it's like, okay, I get the concept where I create a digital product, listing it for sale on Etsy, customers search, find your product, purchase, and then Etsy sends the file link to the customer, and you can rinse and repeat this with more and more products. But how do you know if a product is worth selling? Like, what do you sell and why? How do you know it's going to sell well? And it's going back to using keyword data. We want to find digital products using Everbee that have relatively high demand, which means high search volume. People are searching for these products, and then not a lot of direct competition on Etsy. Like, let's say that there is a certain type of botanical wall art. People are typing in for, let's say, like pine tree wall art. a lot of people are searching for it. However, when you go to look for the products on Etsy, there's like nothing with pine trees. It's all kinds of trees, but no pine trees. Bingo, that's an opportunity for you just to keep things simple. And we also have a full detailed training about Etsy and the other business models that I'm going to share with you, also linked in the description section of this video, which you can check out for even more detail. So digital products on Etsy is great, but what I think is the number one best business model for most nomads, especially those just starting off, is freelancing. Now, most people will think like, wait, freelancing, Sumner, that's not a business model. Isn't that basically like working a 9 to 5? Freelancing is the step between a typical 9 to 5 job and entrepreneurship and true freedom. And sometimes it is the best for digital nomads, not just to using it as a stepping block, but to become full-time, high-paid freelancers. The reason for this is because you can get started nearly immediately. You don't need much prior skills, and it's $0 to get started. So fast and low money to get started. The downside is just kind of the income potential of not having your own business and having to report to clients, but it's still a lot more flexibility, hence the word freelancing, more or less. With freelancing, here's what I recommend. So first, just choose something that you're relatively passionate about. Maybe that's travel planning, copywriting, coding, YouTube SEO, whatever it might be. Even use ChatGPT and go on Upwork.com and find skills that are very high paid that you're interested in. Maybe you already know these skills and have some level of competency, or you're just interested in learning. Then, if you already have the skill or you're brand new to it, start learning for free on YouTube. There's a ton of free information out there. Between YouTube and ChatGPT, you can learn a ton about a given skill. Next, create a free Upwork instructor profile, and from there, look at other freelancers on Upwork, okay? Upwork is basically one of the largest and best paid freelancer platforms. Anytime I need a freelancer, I either go to YT Jobs or to Upwork. YT Jobs is specifically for YouTube. Upwork is more general, and that's in terms of the best quality for me as someone hiring a freelancer. And I've talked to many freelancers, and this is some of the best pay that they're gonna get because it's such a large platform. And basically, you can get started as soon as today or this week. Create your profile, start bidding on projects. When you're starting off, it'll be a bit slow and sluggish, right? You'll have to build this over time. But you'll start getting projects, you'll start getting paid, you'll gain more experience and more reviews. You're gonna slowly increase your dollar per hour rate, get more reviews and experience, increase further, and so on and so on. And you can build a lucrative business from this. I've met so many nomads that make 6 figures just from freelancing. And another little hack to share, look into AI automation. This is the hottest, fastest growing industry right now. And basically what you want to do is look at Zapier and ChatGPT automation videos on YouTube and start learning everything about how to use artificial intelligence to automate different business practices. You really don't need that much skill in this niche and can make a pretty significant amount, at least right now. So definitely take advantage of that. And of course, business number 3 that meets all of our criteria with flying colors is Udemy course creation. Again, using AI and leveraging existing experts, you don't even have to create any of the content on your own. You never have to speak or share your face on camera. First of all, it's just a hugely underrated business opportunity, and especially for digital nomads, which I find tend to be a bit more comfortable on camera. Now, all you have to do is piece together the information to get started. But if you want to save literally months of trial and error, frustration, literally thousands of dollars in wasted money, we've created the shortcut for you called the No Limit Nomads course, linked in the description section of this video as well. It literally walks you through and gives you every single thing that you need to go from where you are right now to become and thrive as a digital nomad, earning 100% of your income online, finding the best, safest, most beautiful places to live, finding community no matter where you go, and so much more. So I hope you found this video valuable. Click the link in the description and look forward to seeing you in the next one.